Narrated Aisha, Allah's Apostle used to practice itikaf in the last 10 nights of Ramadan and used to say, look for the night of Qadr in the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan. Sahih Bukhari number 2020. The Book of Superiority of the Night of Qadr. Status Sahih. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, look for the night of Qadr in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, on the night when 9 or 7 or 5 nights remain out of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, i.e. 21, 23, 25, respectively. Sahih Bukhari number 2021. The Book of Superiority of the Night of Qadr. Status Sahih. Narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet used to practice itikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan till he died, and then his wives used to practice itikaf after him. Sahih Bukhari number 2026. The Book of Itikaf. Status Sahih. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah's Apostle used to practice itikaf in the middle 10 days of Ramadan, and once he stayed in itikaf till the night of the 21st, and it was the night in the morning of which he used to come out of his itikaf. The Prophet said, whoever was in itikaf with me should stay in itikaf for the last 10 days, for I was informed of the date of the night of Qadr, but I have been caused to forget it. In the dream, I saw myself prostrating in mud and water in the morning of that night. So, look for it in the last 10 nights and in the odd ones of them. It rained that night and the roof of the mosque dribbled as it was made of leaf stalks of date palms. I saw with my own eyes the mark of mud and water on the forehead of the Prophet, i.e. in the morning of the 21st. Sahih Bukhari number 2027. The Book of Itikaf. Status Sahih. Narrated Aisha said, the Prophet used to practice itikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and I used to pitch a tent for him, and after offering the morning prayer, he used to enter the tent. Hafsa asked the permission of Aisha to pitch a tent for her, and she allowed her, and she pitched her tent. When Zainab bint Jahsh saw it, she pitched another tent. In the morning the Prophet noticed the tents. He said, what is this? He was told of the whole situation. Then the Prophet said, do you think that they intended to do righteousness by doing this? He therefore abandoned the itikaf in that month and practiced itikaf for 10 days in the month of Shawwal. Sahih Bukhari number 2033. The Book of Itikaf. Status Sahih. Narrated Abu Huraira, the Prophet used to perform itikaf every year in the month of Ramadan for 10 days, and when it was the year of his death, he stayed in itikaf for 20 days. Sahih Bukhari number 2044. The Book of Itikaf. Status Sahih. Narrated Abu Huraira, a man came to Allah's Apostle and said, I am ruined. The Prophet asked, what do you mean? He said, I had a sexual intercourse with my wife during Ramadan while fasting. The Prophet asked him, can you manumit a slave? He replied in the negative. He then asked him, can you fast for 2 successive months continuously? He replied in the negative. The Prophet then asked him, can you feed 60 poor persons? He replied in the negative. In the meantime an Ansari came with a basket full of dates. The Prophet said to the man, take it and give it in charity, as an expiation of your sin. The man said, should I give it to some people who are poorer than we, O Allah's Apostle? By him who has sent you with the truth, there is no family between Medina's 2 mountains poorer than we. Allah's Apostle told him to take it and provide his family with it. Sahih Bukhari number 2600. The Book of Gifts and the Superiority of Giving Gifts and the Exhortation for Giving Gifts. Status Sahih. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Allah's Apostle was the most generous of all the people, and he used to be more generous in the month of Ramadan when Jibril used to meet him. Jibril used to meet him every night in Ramadan to study the Holy Quran carefully together. Allah's Apostle used to become more generous than the fast wind when he met Jibril. Sahih Bukhari number 3220. The Book of the Beginning of Creation. Status Sahih. Narrated Muhammad bin Sirin, Abu Huraira said, Allah's Apostle put me in charge of the zakat of Ramadan, i.e. zakat al-fitr. Someone came to me and started scooping some of the foodstuff of zakat with both hands. I caught him and told him that I would take him to Allah's Apostle. Then Abu Huraira told the whole narration and added he, i.e. the thief, said, whenever you go to your bed, recite the verse of Al-Kursi 2.255, for then a guardian from Allah will be guarding you, and Satan will not approach you till dawn. On that the Prophet said, "He told you the truth, though he is a liar, and he, the thief, himself was the Satan." Sahih Bukhari number 3275. The Book of the Beginning of Creation. Status Sahih. Narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's Apostle said, "When the month of Ramadan comes, the gates of paradise are opened and the gates of the hell, fire are closed, and the devils are chained." Sahih Bukhari number 3277. The Book of the Beginning of Creation. Status Sahih. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet was the most generous of all the people, and he used to become more generous in Ramadan when Gabriel met him. Gabriel used to meet him every night during Ramadan to revise the Quran with him. Allah's Apostle then used to be more generous than the fast wind. Sahih Bukhari number 3554. The Book of Virtues. Status Sahih.